Good morning and good afternoon. It's Sick Ally here, and we're gonna review It's Good News Tuesday. So we're talking about good news today and only good news. Don't expect anything sad or angry to happen. Though you might get angry at some of these. I don't know. It's your life. Either way, let's go ahead and start off with our first news story here, or our headlines. Remember, I'm sick. Let's go ahead and start with our headlines. Today on Before Coffee, scientists develop eye implants using insulin-producing cells that could treat diabetes.
Far-right populist Javier Milei fails to win the first round of Argentina's presidential election.
Where in Europe is it best to be a woman?
And in more Good News Day, students build world's first off-road solar-powered SUV and drive it across Morocco.
In culture news, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson asks Paris Museum to update his mocked waxwork.
All those good news stories, plus it's National Food Day, October 24th, 2023 on Before Coffee.
Alright, time for our first news story here. It's about scientists developing eye implants. This is from Euronews Next. Researchers in Sweden have developed a 3D printed eye implant to offer cell-based therapy that could treat diabetes. The device allows for pancreatic cells to be positioned in the eye and could make cell-based treatment for other diseases possible too, they say. The researchers chose pancreatic islets, cell clusters in the pancreas that produce insulin, as donor cells have been used in experimental treatments for type 1 diabetes. The immune system of people with type 1 diabetes attacks the cells that are used into people with type 1 diabetes. I missed that. The immune system of people with type 1 diabetes attacks the cells that are used to make insulin, a hormone that plays a role in regulating blood sugar levels. One of the problems with the experimental injections of donor pancreatic islets into people with type 1 diabetes is the need to prevent rejection of the cells. The Swedish researchers say that implanting a device into the eye is thus ideal since it's immune privileged. This means that the eye can tolerate foreign matter or molecules without triggering an inflammatory immune response. That's true, otherwise every time you got dust in your eye you would get sick. The eye's transparency also allows researchers to monitor the implant over time. The research was published in the Journal of Advanced Materials this month. The device, which is about 240 micrometers long, was fixed between the iris and the cornea in the anterior chamber of the eye. ACE. It maintained its position for several months in tests on mice. Wouter van der Wijngaard, a professor in the Division of Micro and Nanosystems at KTH, said that they designed the device to hold living mini organs in a microcage and introduced the use of a flap door technique to avoid the need for additional fixation. These mini organs quickly integrated with the host animal blood vessels and functioned normally, the researchers said. Anna Herland, senior lecturer in the Division of Bio-Nanotechnology at KTH, said that their technology does not need invasive methods to monitor its functions and guide care. Ours is a first step towards advanced medical microdevices that can both localize and monitor the function of cell grafts, Herland said in a statement. It was the first mechanical fixation of a device in the eye's anterior chamber. So there's your short little update that someday we'll be treating diseases through your eye. We're just going to put a nanomachine in your eye and it's going to give you all the medicine you need, and you can go on with your life without maybe some discomfort. No, they can't really ask the mice, can they? Hey, do you feel any weird thing in your eye, like an urge to rub? But I guess whenever they open to human trial, we'll get a news update then. In, 10 years. I don't know how long do you have to do animal trials before you're allowed to do human trials.
I'm blind. I really don't know if I care if it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. If I've gone blind, it's like, I'll try anything. What the hell? I want to see stuff, right? Plus they're tested on mice, right? Wonder if those lab technicians are singing Three Blind Mice all day. Three blind mice. Yeah, never mind.
I don't think so.
Now they can see. Anyway, all right, my story. In political news, this is good news if you're not a fascist. Far-right populists from The Guardian. Political reporters Tom Phillips, Yuki Goni, and Facundo Iglesias in Buenos Aires. Far-right populist Javier Milei fails to win first round of Argentina's presidential election. Potty-mouthed political outsider will head to November runoff with centrist finance minister Sergio Massa. The eccentric far-right populist Javier Milei has failed to win the first round of Argentina's presidential election, with the centrist finance minister Sergio Massa unexpectedly beating his radical challenger. Supporters of Milei, a potty-mouthed political outsider described as an Argentina mashup of Trump, Jair Bolsonaro, and Boris Johnson. Well, there's a triumvirate you can't beat for stupidity. Had hoped he was heading for a sensational outright victory similar to Bolsonaro's shock triumph in Brazil in 2018. By the way, that guy lost the last election, so let's not get too crazy about him. He lost. Sitting president's really hard to lose, especially in Central or South America, but he still lost. However, the nearly 99% of the votes in, it was Peronist rival Massa, who won the day with 36.6% of the 27 million votes cast. Milei, who has promised to abolish Argentina's central bank and shun its biggest trade partners, China and Brazil, came second with 29.9%. The third main candidate, the conservative former security minister Patricia Bullrich, finished third with about 23.8%. Massa, 51, and Milei, 53, will now face off in the second round on 19 November. For an outright victory, Canada would have needed more than 45% of the votes, or more than 40% with a more than 10-point lead over their closest rival. Addressing hundreds of euphoric supporters at his campaign HQ, Massa gave a sober speech vowing to lead a national unity government that would kickstart a new phase in Argentina's political history. Know that as president, I will not fail you, he said, promising a country without uncertainty. Argentina has a big family. What it needs is someone to work 24/7 to protect it. Milei urged deflated followers to celebrate the historic achievement of his reaching the runoff with only 2 years after their party, La Libertad Avanza, Freedom Advances, was founded. Today is a historic day because 2/3 of Argentinians voted for change, Milei declared, adding, either we change or we sink. I don't know if you're going to sink. Big old body of land. The result leaves Argentina poised for another month of profound uncertainty, economic turbulence, and fake news before the showdown between Massa and Milei, a libertarian economist who only entered the world of politics when he was elected to Congress in 2021. A Massa victory is not assured, given that many of Bullrich's right-wing voters may migrate to Milei. As he cast his vote on Sunday, Milei, who shot to fame as a television pundit prone to rhapsodizing about tantric sex, claimed he could lead government in history if elected. Lead the best government in history if elected. Oh, nothing like over-promising. The best government in history. There's a non-specific promise. We're going to decide whether we can make Argentina power again and turn ourselves the biggest shanty town. The raggedy-haired populace said after jostling through a sea of supporters and journalists to reach the university polling station. Marcela Pagano, a television journalist running for place in Congress for La Libertad Avanza, predicted the angry voters are poised to boot out their traditional politicians and blame for plunging 40% of citizens into poverty and triple-digit inflation. I believe he's the only one who can get Argentina off the ground. Well, he has no policies. But you're just going to vote for him based on these pronunciations. I'm the greatest in history. Okay. Whatever. Prominent members of South America extreme right flew to Argentina hoping for a Milei triumph that would boost their movement. After its leading light, Brazil's Bolsonaro Bolsonaro lost power last year to the leftist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in October 22. Bolsonaro's congressman's son, Eduardo Bolsonaro, traveled to Buenos Aires to hail Milei's unstoppable movement, comments the Argentine newspaper Clarín said violated the country's electoral laws. The phenomenon you see in the streets, the same phenomenon we experienced in Brazil in 2018. Bolsonaro claimed in reference to his father's landslide win. South American leftists had also appeared in Buenos Aires in the lead up to the election to bolster Massa's initial sluggish campaign, including several Brazilian spin doctors who helped Lula overcome Bolsonaro in last year's historic election. All right, so there's your story. This Milei, who you aren't going to see the videos in here, but basically his videos, his campaign videos are just videos of buildings blowing up, and that's his kind of campaign. I'm going to blow things up. 29% of the voters want to blow things up in Argentina. But the good news is he came in second. There's a possibility he will be defeated, but only if the other, what they say, right wing in Argentina, if that candidate throws their support, possibly, to the non-crazy candidate. Your story.
Okay, I mean, reminds me a lot of Trumpism, where it's like, I'm gonna empty the swamp or whatever. I'm gonna rebuild Venezuela from the ruins or something.
Yeah. Totally
sure, dude. What ruins? Everything's fine. It's
Reminds
not.
me of Napoleon Dynamite. Remember when Napoleon's friends were running for president? I will make your wildest dreams come true. Vote for me and I will make your wildest dreams come true.
That's what they're going
for. Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro.
Yeah, totally. All of you. Every single person. Okay.
Your wildest dreams.
In
not just
European
dreams,
news.
The wildest one.
Yeah, your wildest dreams. In European news, Euronews is asking the question, where is it best to be a woman in Europe? This is from Joshua Askew. New research has ranked countries around the world according to the status of women. Here's how Europe compares. The 2023 Women, Peace and Security Index was launched on Tuesday, ranking countries around the world in terms of the status of women. The Peace Research Institute Oslo, PRIO, which co-authored the index, found many of the best countries in the world to be a woman are in Europe, though there are significant variations across the region. It noted that societies where women are doing well are also more peaceful, democratic, prosperous, and better prepared to adapt to climate change. Researchers warned, however, in the report that multi-layered crises undermine the status of women and threaten to roll back decades of progress, citing the rise of authoritarianism, mass displacement, devastating armed conflicts, and the continuing consequences of COVID. Along with Georgetown University's Institute for Women, PRIO drew a data measuring inclusion, justice, and security for women. They used 13 indicators in the total and ranged from education and employment laws to perceptions of safety and violence. While the pair ranked 177 countries across the globe, Euronews has focused on the results in Europe. How do European countries rank on the Women's Peace and Security Index? Countries and interest scores by rank 2023-24 WPS Index. Number 1, Denmark. Its European rank, number 1. Its world rank, number 1. It got a 9.93 score out of 100, I'm assuming. Or out of 1, I guess. 93% of women are feeling peace and security in Denmark. Then you've got Switzerland, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, all those countries up there. Or I guess in the ocean as well, except for Switzerland. Luxembourg. We've been to 3 of these countries. Norway, Austria, the Netherlands is at number 9, and Belgium at number 10. I'm just going to do the top 10. Any countries you're interested in finding out their scores?
Bottom.
What's the bottom? Okay, the bottom 10. Well, Ukraine, unfortunately, is at 41. Or 117 on the world rank, because there is a war happening there. So yeah, it's not very peaceful and secure, is it? Kosovo is next at number 40, or rank 100 in the world index. Then Belarus at 39 or 69 on the world. And then Cyprus at 38 or 63 at the world. So basically all those countries that have kind of questionable allegiances, I guess, or conflicts.
Border skirmishes.
Yeah. Bosnia and Herzegovina rounded off at number 5, I guess, or yeah, number 5 of the worst places to live as a woman, I guess. Don't live in those places. Obviously, Ukraine is not a place you want to go move to right now. But you can only hope.
Or plan your vacation.
Yeah, don't plan your vacation. Scandinavian countries are on the top when it comes to being a woman. As with many other indicators, the region racks up at a 0.925 score out of 1. The 3 Caucasus countries in the index, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, fare the worst, with the Balkans and Eastern Europe second and third worst. With its scores, rankings, and robust data, the WPS index offers a valuable tool for people working on issues of women, peace, and security, said Elena Ortiz, the lead author of the WPS index. I think she's been in an interview before. Policymakers can use it to pinpoint where resources are needed. Academics can use it to study trends within indicators and across regions. Journalists can use it to give a context and perspective to their stories. And activists can use it to hold governments accountable for their promises on advancing the status of women. Wait a minute, you said we would be peaceful here, but we're number 50 on the freaking rank!
Yeah.
There is a comment here on the article that says, peace and security go together. My point is the stats from the first table contradict the stats from the second. Women in Sweden do not feel very secure when the rapes are extremely high and on rising. Also, UK is a good place to be a woman. It is no way that Croatia, the Czech Republic, and some other countries tops the UK. Well, Luna from the comments, maybe you should become a scientist and do a study. And then you can counter their findings, because that's how academia works. If you don't agree with something, you have to do your own research and say, see, I found that we didn't follow the ideas of this, or whatever. So, Scandinavia is the number 1 region to live in, next to Central Europe and the UK and Ireland, whereas Southern Europe, Eastern Europe, Balkans, and the Caucasus are not so great to live in general, right? Specific countries might be better than others, but if you're gonna move to Europe, I guess move to Scandinavia, where supposedly rapes are on the rise and people do not feel very secure. I'm sure this is not racially motivated whatsoever. On to your next story.
Well, they're just asking people how they feel. It's not like, oh, there's a scientific measurement. It's like, how do you feel? Do you feel
No,
right?
I think this particular thing, they actually do a scientific system of looking at multi-layered things, as in, what did it say?
Okay.
I know I said in the thing what he said, but it's basically just like, it ranged from education, so are women educated? You know, how are their employment laws? Are they given equal treatment in employment? Stuff like that. Okay. So there's 113 indicators they all use. Just the facts on a sheet of paper saying, here's all the laws, here's all the education, here's how many women are murdered every year, you know, something like that, I'm sure. They didn't go into, I guess I could go to the actual article or the actual study.
Here's your data.
Yeah, it's just data. 13 different data points, and they compare them all together and say, well, looks like Sweden.
Okay.
It looks like Sweden has, you know, like 90% on all of them. So they get the top score.
Okay, that's our methodology then. And other good news, and this is from the Netherlands. I'm surprised you missed it. This is from the Good News Network. Andy Corbally. Students built first world off-road solar-powered SUV and drive it across Morocco. Students in the Netherlands had designed a solar-powered SUV that doubles as a small camper van to produce ultimate concept car for off-grid adventure and sunny climes. Driving 620 miles across Morocco, the Stella Terra, as it's called, showed a wide variety of advantages over existing electrical SUVs. Morocco has a huge variety of landscapes and different surfaces in quite a short distance, said Mimi Bosman, events manager for the TUE team, That's on Tuesday. He told CNN the car was tested on every type of surface that a car like this could encounter. The wide sloping roof has inbuilt solar panels that charge the electric battery while the car is driving. This allowed the creators, students from the Eindhoven University of Technology, which is TUE stands for, to shave off the weight of the battery packs, creating a lighter car that uses less electricity to power. By shaving off weight whenever possible and crafting the Stella Terra's body panels to have an aerodynamic shape, the car is just 2,645 pounds or 1,200 kilograms, about 25% less than similar electric SUVs. It also added up to a longer range of around 710 kilometers or 441 miles on roads and around 550 kilometers or 342 miles off-road, plus a minus 50 for cloudy or sunny weather, plus or minus a bit more because car makers are notoriously untrustworthy when reporting range. So, the team drove it from Tangier through the Rif Mountains down to Fez and up to the high mountain tracks near Medelt, Morocco's highest town, and back down to the Sahara Desert where it faced loose sandy tracks. When it was time to call it a day, the rooftop solar array expanded outward to maximize recharging in the remaining daylight, as well as creating an awning like one would find in a camper van. The seats also fully reclined to form a bed. Early on the trip, the steering system broke, but far from needing a medevac to their laboratory in the Netherlands, they repaired it in a countryside workshop with the parts they found. Bozeman and the TUE team are aware that these sorts of concept cars are a major challenge to bring the mass-produced market. What will the ultimate price point be? Who will be interested in buying it? Where should it be most marketed? These are all difficult questions that many concept car manufacturers simply can't resolve satisfactorily. We aim to also inspire not only everyday people, but also the automotive industry, the Ford and Chryslers of the world, to think again about the designs and innovate faster than they currently do. It's up to the market now, who have the resources and the power to make this change and to switch to more sustainable vehicles. The TUE innovators, technically, behind the Stella Terra, see it as a potentially great choice for drivers far away from reliable power grids and for emergency workers in these areas or reaching distant locales or multi-day journeys to transport critical supplies or medical personnel. So good news on the solar vehicle front. Your story. Back to you.
Okay. Well, in exciting culture news, I don't know if you've seen anything about this, but somebody made a wax figurine for The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and they missed a couple of glaring details when creating him. This is from our best friend here, David Moraquand, off of Your News Culture. Mr. Clean, a pebble, Billy Zane with a shellfish allergy, whatever you think it looks like, The Rock isn't best pleased. Indeed, Dwayne The Rock Johnson has got beef with the French museum Le Musée Grévin. In an Instagram post, Dwayne Johnson said his team would be in touch with the Grévin Museum to request changes after its waxwork model of the actor was mocked by the internet. Johnson posted a video of comedian James Andre Jefferson Jr. roasting the statue. Jefferson said that the Paris Museum made The Rock look like a pebble. Wow. Get it? Haha, very funny. Is this how y'all felt when you lost The Little Mermaid? Jefferson joked. We thought the replica of the star of Moana, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Black Adam looked more like a jacked up Billy Zane suffering from a shellfish allergy. Johnson said I'm going to have my team reach out to our friends at Grevin Museum in Paris, France, so we can work on updating my wax figure here with some important details and improvements, starting with my skin color. And next time in Paris, I'll stop in and have a drink with myself. The Grevin Museum said it was reworking the statue of the American star and that a new version would be unveiled today, Tuesday, October 24th. They're going to work all night on it so that's more in line with the expectation of his fans. No, not his fans, not him. Reality. He's pale in this. It looks like it's the same color as you. Dwayne DeRon Johnson is famously Filipino. They are not white people. None of them are white people. Okay.
He does not look that black in this one picture, though. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's not black. He's just brown. I'm just saying the wax
he's not
figurine.
He's a shade darker in this one picture.
Yeah. That's probably really Flash. Terrible. I'm just saying this wax figurine has no color. Okay.
Well, it's Dwayne Johnson with a vitamin deficiency. What's the problem?
Yves Del Humo, general manager of the Musée Grevin, adding the teams were also going to change the lighting because there was a question of the light lightening his skin texture. Yeah, okay. The Grevin Museum, which welcomes 800,000 visitors a year and features more than 250 celebrities, had already sparked controversy in 2018 when it presented a sculpture, unsuccessfully by its own admission, of the likeness of Emmanuel Macron. The addition of the wax statue of the wrestler turned actor is the result of a competition called the Grevin Awards, launched by the museum in March 2022. Internet users were asked to choose which of the 10 international stars they would like to see in the museum. Johnson won out, totaling 48% in the poll over Ariana Grande, who, you know what would be really funny? If they did make an Ariana Grande wax figure and they made her really dark. Because she's actually constantly has a spray tan on, so she looks really tan. But in reality, she's a really pale person, right? It would have been really funny if they made her darker than the Johnson figure. And she's actually
the
like
Macron
super white.
Figure is blue. No,
yeah. But they won over Ariana Grande, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Dua Lipa, Elon Musk, Selena Gomez, Lupita Nyong'o. Oh, that would have been interesting. Lupita Nyong'o, Chris Pratt, and Margot Robbie. One wax statue takes 6 months to create and costs between 500,000 euros to 600,000 euros. So let me just quickly get the picture out so you can see, for anybody who hasn't seen it, I guess, this remarkable image. Let me zoom in here. Okay, so here is what it looked like, and it's him next to it. You can noticeably see that he has a darker shade. Like I said, they're also arguing that, it's just the lighting. We used, the wrong lights and it drained all the melanin out of his skin. I don't know. But
right. When the wax cured, it changed colors. So in their defense, you don't know what's going to end up like. The Macron statue looks like it has fucked up teeth. I'll say that.
They did it on purpose.
I don't know. He looks like, hey, look at me. I got a poor dental plan. I don't know.
All right. Well, that's the end of my story. So this day in history.
He looks downright British. Okay. This day in history, October 24th. Let's get through this day in history, and we're going way back to, we scroll down, 1632, more Dutch guys in the news, they're building solar cars, and then way back in 1632, Dutch microscopist Anton van Leeuwenhoek became the first to observe bacteria and protozoans. Well, he was born in 1632. He didn't do that in 1632, or in 1932, that matter. In 1648, the Peace of Westphalia ended the 80 Years' War between Spain and the Dutch and German phase of the 30 Years' War.
And we stayed in the place that they signed it, in Germany.
Right.
Remember?
Did we? Oh, yeah. In 1861, the first transcontinental telegram was sent via the telegraph in the United States, effectively bringing to an end the Pony Express, which the ponies were like, thank you. 1917. More than 600,000 Italians surrendered or retreated at the Battle of Caporetto during World War I, and the Allies said, "We don't have room for you. Go home." 1922. Benito Mussolini helped plan the March on Rome, which began on October 28th and resulted in him becoming dictator of Italy. So 5 years after 600,000 Italians surrendered, Mussolini took over. 5 years to the day. 1929, a record 12,894,650 shares of stock were trading, causing the first day of real panic on the crash of 1929, known as Black Thursday. We got a black every day in the United States. 1940, the 40-hour work week went into effect under the U.S. Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. 1962, American Cold War thriller The Manchurian Candidate was released in American theaters, and it was a major hit, especially noted for the performance by Angela Lansbury. Murder, She Wrote, Angela Lansbury. Dr. Jessica Fletcher. 1970, Salvatore Allende's election as the first Marxist president of Chile was confirmed. 1992, the Toronto Blue Jays defeat the Atlanta Braves to become the first team not based in the United States to win the World Series. 2003, supersonic passenger service ended as British Airways flew its last Concorde flight. Air France had ceased similar operations in May. Due to that crash, that was no fault of the airplane at all. It was just some stuff left in the airport that shouldn't have been there. 2005, African-American civil rights activist Rosa Parks, whose refusal to relinquish her seat on a public bus to a white man in 1955 helped ignite the American civil rights movement, died at the age of 92. In 2017, American musician and rock and roll pioneer Fats Domino, who defined the New Orleans sound, died at the age of 89. Our featured event in 1945, the United Nations was established on this day. The Charter for the United States, the world's premier international organization, established at the end of World War II to maintain world peace and friendly relations among nations, entered into force on this day in 1945, like 2 months after World War II ended. And our featured birthday biography is Luciano Berio, Italian composer, was born on October 25th, 1925 in Angelia, Italy, and died May 27th, 2003 at the age of 77. That's his birthday today. Happy birthday to Luciano. Other birthdays. We already covered Antoine van Leeuwenhoek. And 1775, Bahadur Shah II, the Mughal emperor, was born. 1954, Malcolm Turnbull, Prime Minister of Australia, was born. 1985, Wayne Rooney, British football player, was born. And Canadian rapper Drake, it's his birthday today. He was born in 1986. That makes him, ran out of toes. Let's see, that's 40, carry a 1. He's 37. I can't do math. He's 37 today, Drake. Okay. Forgot to carry the 1. And National Day Calendar. National Day Calendar is only 3 today. It is National Bologna Day. So I don't know if it's the city Bologna or it's the food Bologna. Let's see. It's the food. There you go. Ours, we call it, the colloquial name of it is Bologna. It's National Bologna Day. And it's also United Nations Day and National Food Day. So bologna and food kind of go together. They didn't think this through too well when they're naming the days. That's it. That's all the days there are. Just 3. But it's United Nations Day.
Not every day can be chock full of things to do, I guess.
Well, anything could be food. It's very general.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, this has been Alson here from the Netherlands.
Right.
Being sick for hopefully not too long, because I am consuming all the medicine.
Sucks.
I will see you later for my typical streaming stuff, and we'll see you tomorrow for Wacky Wednesday, where we find out that weird and wacky news that you would never see coming, really.
This is Roger. Thank goodness it's National Food Day, because I would have forgot to eat otherwise. That's it. That's the comprehensive news for planet Earth. That's all we got for today, October 24th, 2023 on Before Coffee. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.